Sounds like shit. How you doing? Duff here, and time for another 3D video. Before I got started, I just wanted to give you a quick update on the other two printers because we're going to be dealing with the CR-10 today. The Neva has been printing well. It's printing a Christmas ornament, and as is the Flash Forge Finder. With it's printing another Christmas ornament with filament. My first time printing with IC 3D filament. Never used it before. I think I saw a good deal on it on Amazon or something and thought I'd try it. And so far so good. It seems to be printing quite well. And also I've been using some Hatchbox PLA, which again I typically have been using eSun for almost all my stuff. And I use Hatchbox for some lithophanes, and also I have this gray Hatchbox I use for another project, and I really like it. And price-wise, it's right in line with the eSun on Amazon. So I'm a Hatchbox PLA fan, and to be honest with you, I think if I have a choice between Hatchbox and eSun next time, I'm going to probably lean towards Hatchbox. Just, I don't know, it feels, it's hard to describe. It feels smoother, and the finish seems shinier, and at least with the stuff I use it for, I kind of like it a little bit more. So, anyways. But as you heard, or you might have guessed from the start of the video, I am going to work on the god-awful noise that the fans make in the CR-10. Now you may remember a few videos back, you know, I pretty much swore off of mods, but in this case I don't really consider this a mod. I consider this a repair. The one fan I assume is the fan inside the power supply itself. I mean, it sounds like it has spun bearings. This sounds terrible. So I'm going to replace that, and while I'm in there, I'm going to replace the other two fans. There's a total of 3 fans in the control box. I watched some other videos regarding the procedure to get an idea of what to order. I've ordered 2 Silent 5 fans for the case itself, and I ordered a brushless. I don't know if this is a name brand or not. This is just a brushless fan for the power supply itself. Don't see brand name on it, but I'll put the link. I got all this stuff on Amazon. I'll put the link down below. And somehow I got confused when I was ordering stuff somehow. And I also wound up getting an NF A4X20 fan, which is a premium fan. And I can tell you it's a premium fan because it costs like $16, which is a lot for a fan like this. Now, on the plus side, it comes with all this extra stuff, like all these different connectors to make it work in different situations or to make it easier to solder in. So if I can make it work in one of the positions inside, it won't work for the power supply itself, but if I can make it work inside the control box for one of those spots, I'm going to use it because it's a better fan, I guess. So let's get started. Oh, the brand name for this expensive fan is a Noctua. So it's supposed to be awesome. If you read all this stuff in the front of the box, you'd buy one too. Alright, first thing we need to do is pretty obvious. You need to remove the spool holder from your control box. 2 thumb screws. And then also I'm going to unplug the control box in the back here. And then I'm going to turn it on because that should discharge, like if there's any caps that are retaining energy inside the box, that should discharge it. So I just turn it on for a few seconds, going to turn it back off, and now I'm going to remove the 2 threaded cable connectors in the back here. So now I should just have a bare box. Alright, next thing I got to do is remove the screws in the bottom, so let's do that. Now you can use the Allen keys that come with the CR-10, but a month or 2 ago I bought one of these deals with some bits because it's easier to remove them. It's magnetic, so I figured that this would come in handy since I'm now pretty firmly committed to my 3D hobby. And those of you that haven't heard or didn't notice, I now broke apart one of my I spun off they call it on YouTube a brand name for just my 3D videos. So if you're into 3D videos but you're not into some of the other stuff I have on my channel, like car stuff or electric unicycle stuff, I have a new channel that's just going to have my 3D related content called Duff 3D, and there'll be a link to that in the description below, so feel free to check it out. And if you're just into 3D content, you might want to subscribe there as opposed to my main channel. Alright, so looks like a total of 5 screws I removed. So there goes your bottom. And then you got to flip it over on its side, and there's another 4. You're supposed to, if you have an SD card in there, you're supposed to remove the SD card. Forgot to do that. Okay, these screws are bigger. Looks like there's 4 of these. Now I've already been into my control box once before when I swapped out the system board as part of my Easy Able upgrade. I have a system board that I bought from Tiny Machines 3D in here that already had a bootloader loaded, so I'm not completely new to this process. This is my last screw. I can feel that it's holding up the power supply. There it goes. Evidently my shop light is out of battery already. Okay, so I'm going to get the actual power supply itself out. I think I'm going to do that one first. I'm seeing, I've not dug into this power supply before, but I'm seeing screws around the perimeter, and I think I remember hearing that there's one underneath here. Just a precaution, technically doing this is going to void your warranty, because you're not supposed to be ripping into your power supply, but I don't think there's any situation that I would actually contact Creality for anything anyways. So I'm not too worried about that. Here you can see the little hidden screw there. And these are actually Phillips heads. I'm used to seeing these M3 screws that they seem to use everywhere. But these are actually Phillips heads. Whoa. I'm trying to just kind of prop this here. Doing a very good job of it. This screwdriver here is magnetic as well, which might not be a bad idea because you don't want to drop a screw inside your case or onto your carpet. I don't remember if it's just these. It looks to me like there ought to be a total of 6 of these that hold this on. I don't recall from the video that I watched how many it actually was. I'll let you know in a second. Okay, it is a total of 6 little screws. Once you get those 6 little screws off, that will reveal your fan. And the cool thing I see here, because I think in the examples that or at least the video that I watched, in their situation, they had to cut the wires, strip them, and splice in the fan. But in my situation, I think I have the connector I need already attached. So that would be nice. So I'm going to just pull this from the power supply board. This comes right out. Let's do a quick inspection here. Okay. Fan does look good. So there's just 2 additional screws here. And then this has the correct connector, so I can just screw this thing in and maybe put a wire tie just to clean up some of the excess cable length, but I think this should be pretty easy. Just one quick tip, whenever you're replacing a fan, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the way it's oriented, the old one that you're pulling out. So this one had the sticker facing the outside of the case, which means that it would be pushing air out that way. So you want to make sure that you mount your new fan with the same thing, with the sticker facing out. Right here is the fan that I believe is making so much noise. It does say it's a brushless fan, 14 volt. It's interesting. This one's the factory fan says it's a 14 volt. The replacement that I ordered says it's a 12 volt, but I believe it'll work all the same. And I'll find out very quickly if it doesn't. And another tip. This is my own tip, and it's just common sense. You want to make sure that when you're putting these 2 bolts in that you have them snugged up all the way. You don't want to have any slop that could possibly let this fan vibrate against the metal. So I'm going to make sure I got these really nice and snug. Okay, there we go. Fan is on. this. Just going to plug this connector back in. Yeah, I feel fortunate that this is the same connector, because I thought I was going to have to cut and solder all these. At least that one is good. So yeah, I'm just going to put like maybe a little wire tie here, just can't say that, wire tie, just to clean up some of this wiring here. But then the power supply fan should be good. Okay, I'm going to just put the lid back on this one, and this will be good to go. One quick side note, I did buy a small lock build sheet, which I installed on the FlashForge Finder, and so far it has helped adhesion where I've been printing some stuff without using rafts on the Finder, which basically I never did before, so the lock build does seem to be helping with that. Alright, just to be thorough, I thought I would quick hook up power and turn it on to listen to it, since I replaced the power supply fan. Sounds good right now, but actually what my point was is when I first turned it on, the noise actually was not coming from this fan. This fan isn't even running yet. I think it must only come on once it gets warmer. It was the small fan here in front of the system board that was actually making the noise. So that's interesting. But all I did is I just pushed on it and shut it up. So all that noise might just have been from vibration, just maybe something isn't attached here firmly, but I'll find out in a second. Okay, with the second fan, like I said, there's two fans inside the case. There's this one that goes right here behind the control board, and then here is the fan that pushes air out of the box. So it looks like actually this Nocturna actually does go back here, so I did need this one. I was under the impression that both of these fans were identical from the videos I watched, and obviously that was the wrong impression. So this one will go here to push the air out, and then the Silent 5 I'm going to mount back here. The way this is on a bracket, the fan is on a bracket, there's just two screws down here at the bottom that you remove, so I need to take these 4 screws off that attach it to the bracket. And then this is one that looks like I'm going to have to cut and splice because it's hardwired to terminals on the system board, so you can't just plug and play this one. Alright, so since I'm going to splice it anyways, I'm just going to cut it up here. I'm cutting it close to the old fan because I want to have as much cable there as possible to do the splice to give me some room. So now I'm just going to take these 4 screws out. And again, take notice of the way that the fan is oriented. This sticker is towards the back, so I need to make sure that the new one that I put on is the same way. Okay, totally scientific here, huh? So what my issue was, I don't even know if you can see it or not. Anyways, the Silent 5 fan, it has 3 wires coming out of it, and I didn't see any sort of identifiers as far as positive or negative. So what I've had to do is I just stripped the wires on both sides, and I've been doing process of elimination. I connected 2 of the wires and see if it would turn on. Didn't turn on. Connected another 2 of the 3 wires. See if it turned on. Didn't turn on. And of course the last combination that I tried, it finally turned on. It's really interesting. I just saw that the wires, that these are the way they were from the factory for the rear exhaust fan, actually were pinned, putting pressure on this fan, not allowing it to turn. So that's not very cool. So I'm glad I kind of spotted that, so I'll make sure that I route these wires back here in a way that they don't put pressure on the fan. That's kind of surprising. So anyways, I have my combination here for this back fan. I know which 2 wires to use, so I'm going to disassemble them. I have my soldering gun over here, right here, and I'm going to use my poor soldering skills, solder these together. I have some heat shrink tubing that I will use to insulate that connection and strengthen it. So let me do that. God. This tubing is so small. It's kind of tough to do this. I'm tinning the ends badly. It's kind of hard to do this without my little tool thingy here to hold stuff. But I need something to hold my solder gun as well. Alright, you don't need to watch me solder. It's a scary thing. Okay, soldered together. Let's plug this in, see if it works. It does. Yeah, so that rattling is actually coming from that back fan now at this point. So okay, I'm gonna mount this fan back on its bracket. Like everything, it's tedious. So like everything, it's tedious to get to. No, not yet at least. Do you make that?
No, this is one that came in that she ordered one as well in a royal blue. And so we're gonna take this and add the bling. It doesn't look bad.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Alright, it's in. Got the wires tucked away that they shouldn't rub on the fan blades anymore, and complete the reassembly and see what happens. I'm not quite sure why it makes such a horrible mess when I do projects like this, but I sure do. Horrible mess. Just got shit everywhere. Nice, no howling. Awesome. No more sounding like it's about ready to throw a bearing. Let's see if we can home it. Alright. There you go. Home successfully. Control box sounds better. As usual with anything that I do, it's a little bit hairy, but the end result seems good. All I gotta do is clean it up. So once I clean it up, I'll give it one more test print to make sure everything's okay, but I suspect that it should be fine. So if you're looking to replace the fans in your CR-10 control box, use this as a guideline. Might not want to do everything I did, but I will include the part numbers for the fan, the links for Amazon for the parts that I used, in case you need, or in case you want to do the same thing. Like I said, this was the Noctua was for the rear of the case, the exit fan. The Silent 5 was for the fan that blows over the control board, and the generic one for the power supply. I don't have a name for it, but I will have the link for it in the description below. So sorry this was a little bit longer. I'm going to try to edit it and clean it up as much as possible. But if you found this video helpful, please take a second to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please hit or please subscribe to the channel. That'd be much appreciated. And feel free to leave your comments, suggestions, and thoughts below. That's it for now. Until next time, Duffman out.